You saw a guy who thought you wanted him to come in and actually sort stuff out. Literally, you wanted him to do something. And he took it literally. But you were literal and like, if you can do it, great. If not, He, being Trump, he didn't care. They don't care about the debt. They don't. It's not a big deal to them. The thought process is, we won't be around when things go really sideways. That could be 15, 20 years from now. Oh, there could be some bumps in the road along the way, but we got to get our agenda through. I need to sort this out with immigration, and I promise people some of these things, and we need to get this done.
I'll care later.
I'll care later. That's right. I need to get this done, period. Because if not, we run the risk of X, Y, and Z. Whatever baloney that they're going to throw out there. It's politics. That's it. It was it. You ran into something where it was politics. You, being Elon, thought that you were going to get all this stuff done, and then you ran into a buzzsaw. A buzzsaw that we've talked about since day one of the show, which many of you yelled at me for, where I said he'll go to the moon, he'll go to the moon and then to Mars, set up settlements in both of those places easier than he's going to try to get through the politics of D.C. And alas, here you go. This is where we are.
You might say he stepped into a quicksand pond.
That's it. And remember when we were younger, like our generation?
Scared us to death.
Quicksand was going to be, as John Mulaney says, quicksand, he thought it was going to play a bigger part in his life.
Yeah.
I have never seen quicksand, and I don't even know if anybody's ever died from quicksand. I wouldn't even know where to find it outside of a 1980s television show. But that's it. And it got personal yesterday. And there's a certain place that you go, and then you go a little bit farther. He went over that bridge, and then it was, oh, my God, I went over that bridge. And that was the whole thing with the Epstein stuff. And I was watching this thing with Chris Cuomo talking about how how Elon has the opportunity to go after him. And yet at the same time, you and I were talking about it, man. He intimated at it. He hinted at it, Ken, but he didn't say it.
Right.
So that would be tough to prove. But, was he trying to just piss him off? Was he trying? Who knows?
Yeah.
But it got serious because that's when, I don't know if somebody took the phone away or they changed Trump's, truth social password so he couldn't get back on. But Trump got kind of quiet afterwards.
That might have been when his chief of staff, Susie Wiles, who's tough as nails, says, give me your phone.
Yeah. And that's why she's there, because she's one of the very few people that will look at him and say, nope, you're not doing this. And it was a smart thing to do. And now he said today, they said the White House was trying to sort something out with them. And Trump's like, I don't want to talk to him. Let him stew. But you that's a bridge too far. Could he be welcomed back into the fold? Maybe, maybe not, but it's a bridge too far. Trump was always going to win this battle because it's politics, and Trump lives in the world of politics. But it was never going to be long-term. Could Elon have a big effect on him? Yes. Yeah, he could. When it comes to not so much Trump, but the people around Trump, people running for office, could he play a huge part in those people maybe not being reelected? There's that possibility, which would mean Trump would probably face, impeachment after impeachment after impeachment. And 2 years of doing nothing. Elon's in the right as far as the money side goes. He was in the wrong in the way that it was handled. And I think he felt disgruntled as a former employee. That's the way he felt. Like, I was an employee who did everything for you, and at the end of the day, what did I get out of it? Nothing. I got slammed. I got hammered. I got called Nazi. I got destroyed. My people who bought my cars, who had nothing to do with me, never met me, didn't know me. And what's that bumper say? I bought the car before Elon went crazy. They had their cars vandalized. So, alas, here we are. Does it change anything? No. Will the bill get through at some point in time? Look, there's a lot about this bill. I like the immigration stuff. I think it's good. I think it's a smart way to handle it. I like some of the stuff that's in here, I think is very good. And there's a bunch of crap in here that I'm not thrilled with. I told you guys that. Palantir, that stuff should scare the bejesus out of you. having a central database of essentially a network that connects to every single aspect of the government, funded by Peter Thiel and the wing of the CIA that is a venture capital wing. That should make everybody feel a little uneasy. Talk about Big Brother times 10 with them. And they're going to benefit out of this in a major way, in a huge way. So there's a lot of stuff in here that I'm not thrilled with, but it's going to get done. And yeah, they're not concerned about spending money. And that should worry us because we may get to a point sooner rather than later, depending on what happens with interest rates, depending on what happens in a few other things, where it becomes so top heavy that we're going to be in some serious trouble. That not even raising taxes is going to solve our problem. It's okay to have a little debt, but we're at debt now that we haven't been at since like World War II, and we were in a war. That's why you have that kind of debt. We were in a war. We are not in a war, but we fund a lot of wars. No doubt. We're funding several wars right now that we're not in. But we're not in the global conflict fighting Germans and the Russians or anything. We're not. So yeah, we should be concerned about the debt. They're not concerned because it's not on my watch. You mean you won't let it happen? No, we've pushed it out far enough that when it does fall apart, I won't be around. Because they're not fixing anything. Because to fix the issues we have, you'd have to be honest. And I don't know too many politicians who are willing to tell people the truth. And the ones who do rarely stick around long enough to find out what happens afterwards because they're voted out. Because to fix this, you're raising taxes, you're cutting spending, you're doing all of the things that need to be done, because otherwise your fear is we become Greece and Portugal where everything starts to collapse. Ooh, that would be ugly. Right? Because, if you guys have, Portugal was so bad. I mean, it was such a nightmare. They kept borrowing. There was nobody would even loan them money. They're at the point where they're going to start selling off Portugal and Greece bit by bit. It was that bad. And we've got to make serious decisions. And who's going to tell everybody, hey, I saw the other day that the Republicans are thinking about raising the retirement age to 69, 70. Something we've talked about. Take the cap off of Social Security. Get rid of the rich didn't need the tax breaks. I was talking to my buddy yesterday, who does more than well for himself. And he just looked at me and goes, dude, and he's a huge supporter of Trump. He goes, but I don't need the break, dude. He goes, I don't. He goes, I don't get paid like everybody else. And he goes, I just put a brand new TrackMan in my house. I built a special area for a TrackMan in my house so I could play golf without having to go outside. I don't need a break.
That's awesome.
Oh, it is so awesome, dude. He goes, it is so cool, Chad. He goes, it tells you everything you need to know about your golf swing. It films you. He goes, I've got cameras all over. It films me, gives me the feedback, where the ball's going, how it's spinning, and I could play any course in the world. He goes, I don't need a tax break. I'm like, yeah, I know. So it was interesting though, because I had to go home last night and do a whole bunch of shows and I did some interviews, and I'm like, my buddy just hit me up and says, hey, can you, after your show today, can you come on our show out in Arizona? I said, yeah, I can do that. And I go, we talking about Elon? He goes, yeah. I said, all right, I guess I can do that.
Can you ask that buddy of yours if he'll put in a pond full of catfish, bass, and crappie and invite us over?
Would you like that?
Oh, absolutely.
I'm in.
Yeah. So he's got a place. Okay. So he's got a place in Washington on the ocean that is their dream house. And he goes, and he got it. So where they live, they don't allow you to build, docks anymore. They got a dock on the property. So it was worth like exponentially more because there was a grandfather dock in there. And he goes, so I could park my boat in there. I go, you have a boat? He goes, I didn't, but I got a dock. So I went and got a boat.
Got to have a boat.
Got to have a boat. Stupid to have a dock.
Got to have a boat.
And the funny thing is, he goes, I'm not a boat guy. He goes, but we wanted to have it because you never know. You might want a boat. My wife might want a boat. So yes, he doesn't need a tax break. So we'll see. This is going to be interesting. And you know what? There's truth in what Elon said. The way he handled it was bad. It was always going to be politics, and you were always going to lose this fight. Now, long term, who knows what happens? Do I think there'll be a chance where there could be some reconciliation? Yeah, but once you imply, like, that you were with Epstein and potentially, you put it out there that the bombshell was, you're not saying that, oh, you knew him. Everybody knows you're on the list. Everybody knows. Did you go to the island? Did you do this? Did you do that? What's in there? But you implied it enough that people talked about it. And the left is loving this. Because the other thing is, it looked childish yesterday. It looked absolutely childish. That was not a good look. The rest of the world's going, really? Really? This is what's going on with you guys? I was watching the Brits just laugh at this and think to myself, and the Australians and going, because they pay attention to our politics way more than we pay attention to theirs, because our politics moves their needle as well. And they were wondering, what the hell's going on over there? So, and the whole ban and what did he say? Just take SpaceX and?
Yeah, by executive order. Take it.
Yeah, no.
Immediately, he said.
No, and you know why he wouldn't? First of all, you do that, other companies want no part of doing certain business with contracts with the United States. And you don't want that.
That would not be a good look.
That's not a good look.
For anybody in America.
And the other side of it is, too, what do you want him deported?
I can't remember.
Yeah, that was it. Like, they said, we should deport him. And I'm like, okay, so you're going to deport the guy who was running around how does that look if you go and deport him? Oh, well, it looks great because we're against illegal immigration. Yeah, but now you deported a guy who's got all the secrets and has seen everything, who then could go wherever he wants with access to anything he wants? No, that's just a lot of noise out there.